My name is Priyanshu Grover. I am a lawyer, an education activist, a student turned educator, and I am a life skills and entrepreneurship coach. So I train thousands of students across the country. I've had the opportunity of inspiring more than 40,000 lives and bringing smiles on the faces of more than 40,000 students. In the past 5 years, since we've been doing model UNs and debating all our school life, why not do something to create an impact? Why not do something different? So we organized an event with the aim to earn some extra pocket money for the efforts and skills we possessed. And that aim and that effort went on to become what is today known as India's fastest growing education enterprise, which is today known as the awardee of Harvard Act to Impact, and also awarded by IIT Roorkee, MDI Gurgaon, as by as the aspiring startup holding the record of mentoring students across the country and also touching lives, teaching them the importance of skill-based quality education, working in the specific aim of Sustainable Development Goal 5 and the new education policy. So it's my honor today to be delivering the TED talk here, TEDx talk here. This is my third TED talk. When the team here approached me for speaking at this TEDx event, I was very humbled because this is my third event, and more I speak in these, more I realize that this is my passion. I'm not just a public speaker, I'm a public speaking coach. But how did a student, who saw difficulties all his life about the education system we are a part and parcel of, how did I create something which today helps me create these students into better and more capable individuals? Some people, the people who are ultimately, people who've joined me as a part of my programs, training programs, and now working as my colleagues also. This is the beauty of this noble profession of teaching, of being an educator, that you don't just create professions, you create life, you touch lives, and so therefore, when I'm here today for this TED talk, I like to emphasize that my journey with teaching began when I was very young. So I always thought, I wanted to teach. I wanted to grow up and become an educator, a teacher. When I grew up a little more, I realized that I wanted to do more than teaching. I wanted to have the power to make the change to the daily basis of whys and hows of what we study as students, what we were taught. So I wanted to do something different. I'm a very curious individual. As a student who never believed in rote learning, but always believed in the power of understanding, imagining, creating. This journey of teaching, how I realized this was my passion, was when that one boring chapter in history of French Revolution in class 9 that everyone regarded as very boring, and I used to sit in the school ground and teach it to my peers, to my fellows. So by doing that, I realized, I was good at it. I was good at teaching. And that is why I thought, let's create something, let's create something different. So I've always criticized the methods of how what is being taught. And therefore, in an effort to create something different, we started this startup. When COVID finally struck us in the year 2020, we realized, after we were bored with all the hobby cooking and all these hobbies, newfound hobbies we were finding because we were now at home, found a newfound time which we were not used to. So in this unfortunate time, all of us, when we were developing our hobbies also, sitting at home and finding what can we do best with our time. Me and my team took an effort to again organize a Model UN conference, this time not with the purpose of earning an extra pocket money, but this time with an effort to do something different, to drive change and to learn something new. In this, we created an impact by inspiring lives. And this was an MUN we organized to host a fundraiser. Every proceed of this event went to Paytm's Feed My City campaign, and we donated the aim, we realized, and then one after the other, Aspirant Learning was not an educational startup only. One after the other, we organized fundraisers first for acid attack survivors, then people who had lost access to basic education resources in rural areas and slums. We organized fundraiser for them. And through all of these collective efforts, we realized that our passion, our destination was something different. Our destination was to create an impact. And with an effort, with an attempt to do so, we finally realized that we could do more than debating and model events. We registered Aspirant Learning as a non-profit organization and created a social enterprise. It has been a pure honor to be on this journey of a student turned educator, someone who's been through a journey of being a student, first in law school. So first as a student, from a CBSE school to then being a law school student, and finally being a lawyer who's not actually practicing law, but doing more than that, who's creating impact on people's lives by teaching them the value of soft skills and professional skills, of public speaking, entrepreneurship, and also more than that, to make them think, to make them more informed, aware, and tolerant. So something I did not tell about me was that, I've always wanted to do something different. And in this effort, when all of my peers around me were having chocolate cake, I said, I will not have chocolate cake. I really do not like chocolate cake. And I get a lot of criticism for it. That who is this weird person who does not like chocolate cakes? I like pineapple on pizza. I'm very indecisive in deciding what to order from the menu. So this is where the journey of doing something different has started. Minor life choices defined a major life choice that I made to do something different, to though being good as a lawyer and not practice as a corporate lawyer, but rather becoming an educator, because I thought this was something that came naturally to me. Something that I've realized and I would like to give it put forward as a message is that I think most people, especially in the edtech space, who want to start, and this is for actually any startup in general, any enterprise, any company, any organization in general. Any organization is not known by its, the startup value of an organization is not equal to their turnover. It's not equal to their financial value only. It is equivalent to the social value. Social value is the economic, social, environmental impact created by an organization in direct consonance with the stakeholders or the people involved in a particular geographical area. So see, I think that as an educator, as an entrepreneur, as a social entrepreneur also, I've created impact because we add social value to, and not just financial value to what we do. Now, adding a social value, and I think every startup should have a social value. This sets you apart. You know how? First of all, it gives you a competitive advantage over your competitors, because in our case, our competitive advantage is not, our demand being more or our profitability being more. Our advantage is that we have a community of loyal student base of followers for inspiring change, for helping me, and helping us rather spread impact of what we do. Now, something I would also like to highlight is, various initiatives we've taken of training. I have said for training for more than 40,000 students across the country, of building a community of happy and inspired students who give me high fives, who want to learn from us. And in one particular instance, I was, in a competition that I was chairing. I was judging a competition and I come across a student who says, "Sir, do you remember me?" I say, "Yeah, I do." And before I could say anything, the person said, "Sir, I met you in 2017 when you guided me for an MUN. You guided me on how to do this particular conference, and I did not get an award then. I was very sad and I was crying. And you gave me a feedback, and today I've won a best delegate." You see, this is the power of, and the smile I had on my face and the satisfaction I had was unparalleled. You learn something as an educator. Every day, you learn something as an educator. And this is what is inspiring about, my journey, which is shared value with thousands of other people I've come in interaction with. Now, something I would also like to highlight. So I'd like to just conclude by saying, in my journey that I have been on, I'm very young to say this, but in my humble journey that I've been on, and this mission I'm on to inspire lives, I've realized that there's some lessons I think we can all carry forward, and these are lessons that I've learned the hard way. The first one is that And you should always remember this, ladies and gentlemen, the journey is always more important than the destination. Means matter more than the ends. So one such project that we were working on and was to organize a conference somewhere. The conference, we wanted to have 500 people participating at least, because otherwise it would have been a failure from our side. That is what we thought. And in the process, we worked so closely with the student organizing committee that we realized that what matters more. And when the event finally came to a conclusion, we had not 500 but 600 students who participated. Something we realized then, that satisfaction that we have was not because we had an outcome of 600 students. We had a satisfaction because we had grown closer to those students. We got to know them better. We have learned something from them in the process. The journey is always more important than the destination. Always remember that. And I think deep down the line, you will realize that, as Robert Frost says in his poem, that two roads diverged by and I took the one less traveled by. Yeah. And that has made all the difference. So the journey is always more important than destination, and your journey can be different from the others. It does not have to follow the conventional norm of being, similar to others. This is what sets you apart. I think also the second lesson I would like to give, you should have the aim to learn as you were to die tomorrow and live as you were to live forever. And therefore, I think something I would also like to propose as a message also is that often we undervalue ourselves and we seek validation from the others. Seek validation here from within. Seek validation from the people who are close to you, who are your biggest cheerleaders. And in my case, it has played a very important role, and I owe everything to them. Yeah. Finally, I would like to say, especially in competitive marketplaces like startups and businesses, and this is very important. Do not aim at competing. Aim at collaborating. Sometimes the market space, like for us in the education sector, is such wide that we do not have to see competition. Even if everyone competes in their own sphere, every startup, which is a competition, can still strive, can still survive. That is why I think the effort should be at collaborating and learning something new and creating a bigger value out of the major goal, that is to promote education, to promote quality education, because this is what makes me, and I know my competitors, and I know my peers, and I know my colleagues and my students get out of bed to learn something new, to teach something new, and to bring smiles on thousands of people, on the faces of thousands of people across the country. With this, I conclude, and I thank you all for giving me the opportunity to speak to you all.